are you? I'm so glad you're able to tune in. I see we have about 6 to 7 people. Just give us a minute and then we'll wait for about 10 or 12 people and then we'll kickstart. So, welcome. Hello ladies, such a warm welcome. It's a rather wet evening, but I think we're going to make it as exciting as possible. So today is the last in the series of our Entrepreneurs Month on EWN. You know, we dedicated the whole of June to our entrepreneurs. So today is the last one, and today we are going to be discussing capacity building and driving excellent customer service through hiring, retention, and remuneration. And today I have with me rather, a very special team of ladies who are going to help me here. So my name is Janet Sunkwa-Mills. I am one of the members of the executive committee. I've been in EWN since day one, and I'm a marketing consultant and the CEO of Salon Spa. With me I have...
I'm Josephine Hutton-Mills, and I'm the lead consultant with Finesse Business and Etiquette Consultancy.
Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda Akushie. I'm the lead consultant for Nilee Consult. So Nilee is a customer experience and a digital marketing consultancy firm. Thank you.
Hi everyone, and I'm Evelyn Acquah. I'm the Chief Customer Officer for Absa Bank, Ghana, and a proud member of EWN.
So Evelyn, you're welcome. Amanda, you're welcome. And Sakua, you are warmly welcome. Before I start everything, I want to open with this statement that when something makes you feel pretty damn good, you would want to experience it again and again and again. So today we're going to investigate how that solution that we're bringing on board can make us feel pretty damn good so that the cash can come in. Now, before anyone starts a business, right, there are certain things they would have decided already. So because for me, with my corporate background, all we say is it all starts and ends with the consumer. Without a consumer need, there is no need for a business entity to exist because we exist to satisfy consumer needs. So having said that, the second thing we'll delve into is to how to go about at least identifying what drives you into this business and how to go about your business, let me say your business plan. What are the elements to look at? And then we will go into the people's part of it, your team, how you select them, how you recruit them, how you train them, etc. to make sure they deliver that wow customer experience that we all want. Okay, then after that, all questions on board, we will try to handle as many questions as we can. So Sakua, tell me, anyone with a marketing background will understand that consumers have needs. What, in your perspective, are some of the consumer trends coming up?
In terms of what consumers are looking for.
Exactly.
Now.
So for example, let me give you an example to trigger the discussion. Today, with the pandemic, with the onslaught of the pandemic, one of the biggest trends is working from home or working in flexible places. The other one is self-care. The other one is holistic wellness. Some are also looking for association. There are others who have now identified that the family is the biggest thing. There are some who have seen that the prices and inflation are all over the place, and therefore they actually squeeze everything out of their city. So in your space, what made you start your business?
There's also a vast need for knowledge. There's the knowledge space now. A lot of people are seeking knowledge, and I think it came out of the lockdown period where a lot of people were stuck at home. So from doing all the movies to doing all sorts of things online, shopping online, the next thing that evolved was knowledge. And so you realize that there's so many online courses now. A lot of people are converting their businesses onto online programs. And so knowledge is a key area right now. People seek knowledge online almost everybody is in one program or the other. I think across the industries too, people are looking for comfort.
Okay.
And comfort means I'm buying from home. It
Yes.
means that, and that's why you would have Amazon, people buying on Amazon, on eBay, are doing a lot of drop shipping, you know, because people have found that comfort, you can have comfort in the comfort of your home. You're purchasing all sorts of things, even though that is also not helping with our well-being, because we become more stationary and
Yes.
we're eating a lot of junk and not working it out.
Yes.
So for me, those are the two areas that I realized that, okay, my trainings can work well, because I don't have to always be in front of people. I record videos, people purchase, and then they learn from them, or people join classes online.
Okay,
Yes.
fantastic. Tell me, Amanda, what about you? What made you start? What was the need that you thought needed solutions for?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm in the customer experience industry, and often as a business, you would want to have customers that would come back to still purchase from you, that would want to refer you to other people, that would speak good of you, either on social media or physically with others, have good word of mouth. But then I realized that one thing that was lacking is most of the times, business owners often will think, let me just train my employees because my employees are not getting it right. But you realize that after the training, something is still missing. So then that is that gap, that is the systems, the policy, the entire chain that the customer goes through for the customer to have that experience that you would want him to have or you want her to have is missing. So you just listen to, or you just concentrate on just that one part, which is training. But you train the employees, and then what happened? The tools for them to work with are not there. The policies or the procedures for them to follow are not there. So then there was a need for us to look at the customer experience, which is the end-to-end of the business, which involves from the time that the customer got to hear of you, from your website, from your banner, from your post, to when the customer picks the phone to call you, the customer wants to have a transaction with you, consider should I pick you or not. So the customer going from the whole customer journey, how easy are you going to make that journey for the customer to say, look, I want to come back to you and do more and more with you.
Fantastic.
So we realized there was a gap there.
That's great. So now, I think the key point here is before you go into any business, you should have identified what need there is among your consumers, your customers, some call them clients, irrespective of the denomination that we use. The most important thing is there has to be a need which is currently not satisfied. But what we find currently is, you know, there has already been a solution to a certain need. So for example, if it is a knowledge gap or let me say the structuring gap, there are people who are already offering those solutions. But then how do you differentiate between what you are offering and what another brand is offering, for example? Without going too much into details, because I think I'm going to delve into how you bring on board your staff and how you onboard them and everything. But how then do you differentiate? Let's take Janet, for example. There are 1,000,001 salons and spas out there, but I still decided to go in, isn't it? So the question is, how do you differentiate your offer?
First of all, for any business, the differentiation comes mainly from the professionalism and how you execute, the excellence with which you execute. Because if, like you said, your opening statement, if I came into Janet and I enjoyed it, I will come again and again. And then relationship is built.
Yes.
So it starts from the trial, and then it becomes a repeat patronage, and then you now have a loyal customer.
Okay.
And so for me, what actually pushed me into the trainings, I started off with the events. And through events, I realized there was a gap in the way people were behaving. And through no fault of a lot of people, things that I found very basic, I realized that many people genuinely did not know. As simple as table etiquette, how to speak well, things like that. And what you may take for granted may be a big deal for somebody else based on the background from which they come or the nurturing that they've had. So combining that gap that I realized, I found that, look, people need to be more refined. And then the fact that people also want to learn, and then the fact that when they come and they experience the professionalism with which I served in the event space, and people did ask, I said, okay, let me put this together, and then we started the training. So
Okay.
that is how
Fantastic. So we have identified our need.
Yes.
We have sort of in our heads put a certain business plan together, because without a business plan you cannot approach, even if it's an angel investor, to invest in your.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're thinking of setting up a business, please know that you have to identify a need first and try to put some structure to your business plan. However, if you're already established, the question is, I am assuming that we have all satisfied the basic need for which you're set up. Because I think sometimes we go overboard to try to deliver wow experiences without delivering the fundamental solution. So for example, you can go to a place, the whole place is set up nicely and everything, and if the person, for example, let's say came to you and then you're like, but this place is set up nicely, but you know, the one at the reception didn't receive me warmly, your systems are not fluid, they go back with a very bad experience, right? So now let me go back into my question, which is to all of you. When does customer experience start? At what point in the journey does the consumer experience start?
Let me take that. So the core element of customer experience is how accessible you are, how functional you are, and the emotional connection you drive with your customers. So customer experience starts from the very minute you develop your strategy, because you need to carry your people along. And for all the three elements I've mentioned, your people are core to you delivering that great customer experience. So you first have to identify who are the customers I'm going to serve, and what will be my strategy. What will make me different? Why should somebody come to me and not go to A, B, C, or D? When you develop that, then you ensure that you get the right people on board. And those people on board, you need to sell your strategy to them, because they have to espouse that strategy you are trying to drive and see the vision. Where do we want to go? Why have we set up this business in the first place? The people who you started with, they need to carry that along with you. So most people think customer experience is just about smiling and being nice to people. It goes beyond that.
Yes.
It goes to the extent of what journey would a customer go through when he comes to me. So I've set up this office. How accessible am I? What are my timelines of operating? And what am I trying to achieve? Am I ensuring I do that? And the customer who is coming in, for him to come in tomorrow, I have to ensure that I've developed some emotional connection with him.
Okay.
So from the very first day when you set up your business plan, you should have a customer experience plan as well.
All right, I like that.
Yeah.
You should have a customer experience plan. It's not something that we do haphazardly.
Exactly.
What do you say to that, Amanda?
I totally agree with what Evelyn said. And so some people ask, so when does it start, as she said, and does it have an end?
Yeah.
I often say it doesn't have an end, so
Yeah.
far as the customer is with you and you want to please the customer. It sometimes even starts as early from what Evelyn said also, from the before the awareness stage. You have your website, and sometimes you think so much just about the aesthetics of the website. But I get to the website and it's so difficult for me to find out where the contact button is. If I have an issue, how do I contact? The customer wants to have that relationship with you, but you get on the website to realize there's no contact details. They rather want you to leave your contact so they call you. I'll question myself, what if you don't call me? Because I want a solution.
Exactly.
So if you have a competitor and the competitor has a contact and the same function, I'll jump onto that website.
Yes.
And how easy is it, both on phone and on website, laptop? Is it so functional on phone and laptop? Maybe you have a signage to a physical shop. I get to this, I see the signage, but as I'm coming, I realize I'm at a T junction. Should I go left or right?
Yes.
There's no signage there again. Or there's a signage, there's no contact number for me to call to say, okay, I think I'm missing. So it starts even as early as that time as well. So whatever you are doing, so for us, is a touch point that a customer will come in contact with. You have to start thinking of it.
Okay.
So it's so key to have a customer experience strategy in place, as Evelyn said, before you can really be able to implement it and implement it.
Let me touch on something critical here, which is the website and any other social media platforms that you have, because the global trend, and I think the pandemic has heightened it, you cannot not be on digital. You can, so we're saying that the experience first of all starts from your plan, your strategy, identify what your customer needs, satisfy the basic needs first, be sure that you can satisfy the basic needs first, and then you can drive the experience. However, the experience of your brand or your business or your solution starts before you come into physical contact with your client, your customer, and your consumer. And these platforms are your digital platforms. And what Evelyn, you're saying, and Amanda, you are iterating, is that your digital platform has to be accessible, has to be engaging, and has to be interactive. Not only the aesthetic appeal, but whatever goes on there. Because it is the real first contact between you, your solution, and then your customer, your consumer, and or your clients. I hope you picked a few nuggets from there. We're good.
Yes.
Now we have experienced the brand outside the premises of wherever you're delivering the service or the product. Now we've come into your premises. How far from the premise does the customer experience start? I know you talked about the signs. Let's go there.
I was going to continue. The journey started from the strategy, route to market.
Yes.
Because route to market on the traditional, in traditional marketing is billboards, but now we have our digital.
Yes.
And so now we've come to the premises.
Yes. Before we get into the premise.
Well, even from outside,
Exactly.
it starts from who the customer meets. Even your security person who is helping to park. Sometimes we ignore all of these things, but if I got out of my car or if I got to your entrance and the first person I meet upsets me, it sets the tone for my experience in your space. If I walked into your reception and your receptionist is not even properly dressed, I even talk about the smell of the place. When we came in, we were saying how relaxing this place was. You walk into a place, and unfortunately this happens in a lot of MSME places because they own shops and things like that, and you can tell what has been had for lunch. It's very upsetting. No, it just spoils it. And unfortunately food has a way of smelling really off when you didn't eat it.
Yes.
You walk into the space.
The worst one is the peanuts.
Yes. And then they start speaking and then you can smell the peanuts.
Yes, yes.
As simple as it sounds, it does put the customer off, or it sets the tone for the experience even before the person speaks and says hello. I'll give a quick example. Recently I walked into a shop that sells beautiful interior things. Now, if we start from strategy, the person has clearly set up, this is a niche market because they were not cheaply priced. They were quite pricey things. So straight away you are looking for a certain caliber of people. Now based on that, the person should have put in the shop somebody who can speak to the caliber of people who will be purchasing the things. But as soon as, in fact, before I opened the door and I saw the girl through the glass, she was eating roasted plantain, sitting down. I was thrown off.
Yeah.
And every question I asked her, I don't know. Then she would look at, I'll call madam. She didn't know anything. I'm new here. I said, how new are you? Oh, 2 months. I said, you are not new. You are not new. But already, that has set the tone for my experience in the shop. I looked at the things. I could tell they were amazing, beautiful things. It gave me an idea of the owner's perspective on interiors. but I didn't purchase anything. I don't think I will go back there.
Yeah.
You know,
Because the experience was not good. The feeling was not good.
And that's the third time I've been in the shop.
Oh.
And it's always a different face. But the people you interact with don't match up to what you want to sell.
Yeah.
You know, so the person doesn't even understand interiors.
Okay.
You know?
So you know what, Evelyn, I'll take you back to strategy because you just said something which triggered a question to me. On your piece of paper, as you're drawing up your strategy and the routes to experience, let's call it that for that matter, it means that from your car park to your security man to the type of people that you employ,
Yes.
the kind of skill sets that you want them to exhibit, and the way you want them to treat either your consumers, your client, or your customer, depends on your brand and your brand promise. I want us to go in there.
Exactly.
So for example, if I'm a business, it is very, very important that at my strategic stage, I should have defined my brand and the brand promise. Now, what I'm calling brand promise is what we call tagline, right?
Yes.
Your typical tagline. What's the tagline of Absa?
We bring possibilities to life.
What's your tagline?
Living with finesse.
You
You
have
have my
one.
name as well.
You don't have one, so from here you gotta do that. So because we are not discussing corporate today, I will not go into Absa, but living with finesse.
Yes.
How does that impact your security man's what he wears, your packing, the kind of people how does that impact it?
Okay, so currently I have a home office. I don't work from my office, but I can go back and talk to you about when I had the office.
Okay.
And I was very particular about how I set up the office. And so right from the reception, even the diffusers, the smell of the place, the choice of colors, very calming, gray, blues. I was deliberate about working on the experience people had in. You come in and I want you to feel like you're in a luxurious space but very relaxing as well. And whoever met you at the gate, when he started working with us, I took control of how he dressed. And so I did buy him shirts, I changed, polo shirts, good quality polo shirts. And I had to control that because I tried and told him, change what you're wearing, but it wasn't working. So you may have to go the extra mile and impose on your people if you realize that they do not know how to put it together.
Yeah.
With the team in the office, you cannot wear slippers in the office. You can wear it under your table, but if you're stepping out, even to my office or into the meeting rooms, you have to be dressed properly.
Okay.
We had those kind of, it seems very simple, but it goes a long way. And people come in, and even after the meeting is over, they want to stay longer. And that's how I was able to structure it when I was running my physical office.
So I want to make it practical.
Yeah.
So there's no money these days, right?
Yeah.
The diffusers cost money.
Exactly.
The polo shirts cost money.
Yes.
I mean, sure, everything costs money.
Okay.
So if I have 100 cities to invest in my environment.
Yes. You see, you don't have to do the diffusers, but at least make sure your place is neat. It's the first step.
Yes.
Is neat. When you open the office in the morning, open the windows and let fresh air flush through the room.
Yes.
So the place is not stuffy.
Yes.
You do not want to use the diffuser. In very simple ways of using diffusers. Lemon, boil it with cinnamon sticks, coffee, things like that. Put it in hot water. There's very basic things.
I'm learning a few things.
It makes
that's how down to earth I want us to go to,
Yes.
because you know the beautiful thing about all these. There's a hormone called endorphin. And if you know a little bit about endorphin, we have to read a lot. Endorphin kind of releases the happy hormones.
Yes.
And one of the biggest ways to release your endorphins, there's so many other ways, is this pleasant smells and pleasant aromas. And this is extremely key. So even if you cannot afford the diffusers and you are not an online business, yes, and your consumers have to come to physical premises, what we're saying is make a little bit of effort to get this pleasant smell, because when I'm happy, what did I say? We want to come back again and again and again
Yes.
and again. So we can use lemon.
We can use lemon. Introduce simple plants into your space. You can't afford to buy fresh flowers. You can have beautiful silk flowers, but please keep them clean. Let them not be there for 3 years and they're dusty. Let them be clean, you know. Even if you have a few hedges around, I've seen somebody just trim simple hedges and we put it in a vase. It's just, you see, the little effort is seen. You don't realize it.
Yes, yes.
But people walk in and they see that effort that you've made to make them feel comfortable.
That's great.
And then they meet the people.
Okay. And I must say that, you know, for all you know, you can develop your own kind of pleasant smell, which will be a differentiator
Yes.
between you and your competitor.
Oh, yes.
All right?
Yes.
So we have, I'll summarize this again. We start from your business plan. You should have identified your consumers, your clients, your customers, and what the basic need you're trying to satisfy, right? Then the customer experience starts before they enter your premises, if you have a physical premise. And then when they enter your premises, their first memory of your premise should be a pleasant one. Neatness of the environment, open the doors, the windows, make sure there are no mosquitoes. Have something that makes the place smell nice. I discovered a certain plant called Lady of the Night. I think
yes.
you will see one at the entrance
Yes.
of the left. I mean, it just smells nice. Okay, now let's go to our people. This is where the ache of the matter is. How do we identify the right team we want to bring on board? So we're going to talk about recruitment. When we have identified them, how do we train them? How do we onboard them? Except even before that, Evelyn, don't you think we should have, at the planning stages, start to put some pen to paper about policies and procedures, how you want the team to dress? Don't you think we should have done that at the planning stages?
You should. So I was listening to Nana and you, the entrepreneur, you've got a lot of ideas and you know where you want to take your business. But unfortunately, your people are not in your head.
Yes.
They don't know what you want to do.
Yes.
And the sad thing is they come and they go. Especially when you start at first, you see your staff turnover is very high.
Yes.
So it's important you have a code of conduct. How do we do things around here?
Yes.
What is the culture? How do I want, so for instance, you say around here we smile at customers. Around here we are polite to customers. So it's very important that no matter how small your business is, you articulate that. Write it on paper. You can even have it as a poster at your staff area. So it reminds your staff that this is our policy around here. And then they try and you ensure that they live according to that policy. So it also said that what gets measured gets done.
Exactly.
Okay. So then we say in the corporate world we've got performance appraisals. Now in your small business that you're setting up, you should also have some sort of performance appraisal. That at the end of the month you sit your colleagues down, your staff down. If it's a one-on-one, you call them to your office. This is what we said we're going to do this month, and this is what has happened. Can you share with me how you think the month went? Okay. So you started to talk about when we get the people in, what should we do? And
How do we even get the people? Because I think this is a big challenge for SMEs. First of all, the last time we were discussing, what Sakua had mentioned, there is something, some people or some staff use your business as a stepping stone, whilst for others it's a destination employer. So they're two different things. So now the point is, what are the sources to find staff? If I'm an SME coming up, I've run my business, blah, 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 everything is on paper, but now I need people. What are some of the sources that I can identify, you know, to get people? Do I go to a recruitment agency? What should I do? Should I scout? Should I poach? Should I?
I'll give you an example of something I do.
Okay.
So my husband has a supermarket actually. So what we do is when we go to a shop and the person there serves us very well, we get to know the person. We interrogate the person a little bit more. So we look out for the people we want to hire and we hunt them. So
you go hunting.
Yes. You speak about head hunting in the corporate world.
Why not?
In the SME world too, you can also head hunt. Because this is so, there's this receptionist and she's get to know the person.
I want to drill down that.
You'll be surprised that that person is not happy where they are. And you could poach them to
Evelyn,
your
I want to
organization.
drill down on that. Based on a personal example. So before I started JNM, of course I do my, go around, look for blah. And then the people that you poach, supposedly, feel pointless. Oh, me dear, I'm the, because Madame poached me. You like this. It is not easy to keep and retain someone you have poached. This is my experience in the industry. And once you are a poacher, using the word loosely, you will be
a poachee.
Exactly.
They would poach the person as well.
Exactly.
I get you.
So it's one way.
Yeah.
Now I want to go the other way, where you can also, because the other thing about poachers, yes, they're not happy where they are, but they come with a certain culture of the environment in which they were or they are. And that may not necessarily be the culture that you want to have in your place. That's the first one. The second thing is they would have had certain mindsets already. So teaching them to unlearn old habits become very, very difficult. So even if you want to go that route, just bear in mind that there are some pluses and some minuses related to that. What are the other ones? Are there any agencies that we can approach to recruit for us?
There are some agencies that recruit for SMEs. And sometimes, when we mention the word SMEs and how corporate institutions do their thing, we think we've not got there yet. Maybe when we get there, we'll do it. But it's easier for you to start small and do the right things so that when you become that big corporate institution, it becomes easier for you. So there are some recruiting agencies that help SMEs to recruit as well. And even when you are recruiting, there's one thing. What are you recruiting? What are you looking out for in the candidates that you are searching for or you are hiring? We sometimes forget to know even our own culture as an organization, as you said. So when we are recruiting, we don't see or we don't look out for the fact that the employee should fit into our culture. So the employee doesn't fit into our culture, we often will just look at the skills, if she has a skill, which is very good. But it's easier to train for skills than to change attitudes and to change behavior. So the first thing you do when you are hiring and during the interview process is to look out if the person fits into your culture or can fit into your culture. Let me give an instance. So I have this mentor he was on an interview panel. So they were searching for a receptionist. And they intentionally, so the meeting room and where the receptionist sits wasn't far. All the candidates were seated at the meeting room. They were looking for somebody who is proactive, someone who takes decision without you telling the person. So they were sitting, the phone rang. 3 people were sitting, coming for the interview. It rang, it ended, nobody picked up. It rang again, and one person stood up to go and pick it up. And picked and said, sorry, the receptionist is not seated. I will alert her for you to go. And she came to sit. Immediately they said, this is the person we are looking for. It doesn't mean the 2 people are bad, but as part of the organizational culture, they were looking for something like that. So as at that particular moment during the interview process, that person fitted into the organizational culture because she went ahead to do it when you not even asked her. Yes, maybe she didn't pick the phone on the right notes or spoke well. I can train that person to teach you how to pick up a phone call. But I can't, it's so easy for you to train for skills than to change somebody's attitude and behavior that doesn't fit into your organization. And I think that's where the gap starts coming from. So as SMEs, we usually think we're so far off from organizational culture. Where we are seeking out to hire people, and we shouldn't also leave it just for recruitment agencies to handle. Do you not know your organizational culture? You would often debrief them, and what the mistake we do is, when we leave it to the recruitment agents, we just describe what we do. And so this is what I do. I want somebody who will just be able to sell and make my customers happy. What does happy mean in your organization? Happy means different things to different organizations.
That is so
Satisfaction means different things to different organizations. So as a business, as an SME, you should be able to describe what experience or what feeling you want your customers to have. When you say happy in your organization, happy means what?
Yes.
Does happy means the customer comes and wouldn't keep long in my shop? Does happy means when the customer comes, everything is in stock? It means different things for different organizations.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be able to explain what that means. Let it be part of your culture. And when you're seeking and recruiting, make sure that let me try to look out for that culture fit before looking out for this.
Okay, fantastic. So what you're saying is, before we even go out there looking for people, we should have decided. In fact, if you're new, you don't have a culture yet, because culture is habit built over time.
But
Yeah.
But
you
should
should
have
jot-
an idea of what
you
you
should
want
jot-
exactly.
Put to paper in marketing we do what we call a mood board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put something, pick pictures,
Yeah.
words, descriptions, and etc. of what the kind of culture you want to be. And you would have also done your job description, Sakua. With your answer, can you go into the job description part?
Yes, so before I come into the job descriptions
Yeah.
part, let us be as practical as possible. We're talking about MSMEs.
Mm.
All that we are saying is correct, and trust me, most entrepreneurs know it.
Of course.
The issue is, who is the MSME? When the MSME owner is recruiting, the first thing is, this is how much I want to pay the person.
Yes.
We are not thinking even about skill yet.
Yeah.
It comes before we think about skill.
That is so
In our minds, we say, I want to pay the person 800. I want to pay the person 1,000, 1,005. That is where we start from. If you start from that angle, which is what typically happens, what level of person do you expect to get? And that's the reality. We start from that, and so we get that level, and yet we are expecting so much.
Yes.
It doesn't work that way. Even if you train the person, because the person is not of a certain level, you will not get exactly what you are looking for. So I'll throw you back to strategy,
Yeah.
to the business plan. So if you've decided that this is the business I want to have, who is that front-facing person? Who is going to be of a certain level? Which of your workers can you say would be of this level, and I don't mind?
Yeah.
The person who is not, let me give an example, so maybe a caterer. You have a certain level of workers, but they are in the back. They
Yes.
never meet the customer. Then you can sacrifice and pay more, or look for that caliber of person who is going to be your front-facing person. So until we ourselves
Yeah.
reorient the way we recruit,
Yeah.
we will have this problem. We are expecting too much from
So there's a job for the owner, for the
That's a
business
big
owner.
job for the owner.
Okay, so let me throw the owner into the picture, because when we talked about customer experience, we never talked about the owner. We just talked, yes, we talked about strategy on paper, we talked about your digital space, we talked about people. Now, the owner themselves, what I have experienced in general from my corporate background is being an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have so much work to do.
Exactly. The buck stops with you.
You have so much work to do. Let nobody kid you that the capital is the biggest thing you need. The capital, yes, is to finance everything, but the commitment of the business owner, the visualization of where you want to drive your business is very, very key. What is the role of the business owner in customer experience?
I think the business owner is the strategist, the finance director, the operations manager, the accountant, the customer experience head, the HR director. It's not just me, operations manager, the person is doing the work as well.
Exactly.
You're doing everything. And it's crazy.
It is.
It's almost impossible to be able to
Should
juggle
have
all of
added
that.
a shop floor manager. as well.
Shop floor, look, everything, cleaner, everything. No, you are everything, and the earlier you understand that, the better. Corporates have departments, department heads, people are doing all of that. But the entrepreneur in our space, in this country, and you know, it's even worse because the customer, I want madam.
Yes.
So you spend so much time dealing with your customer because the customer doesn't want to deal with your worker.
Why not though? Why not?
I think, I don't know whether it's a cultural
Is it
thing.
because we, the business owners, haven't brought up our teams to the level that we expect them to
Yes and
perform at?
Yes and no.
I think we haven't empowered them well enough. So you
Okay.
get businesses where, yes, the buck stops
Yeah.
with you, but you need to empower your people because you can't always be there.
Exactly.
So you need. So I will share an example when I started in the corporate world. In one of our branches, so in our retail segment, our retail head said, if you're a branch manager and you are going on leave, when he goes to the branch and he asks, who is the branch manager here? He doesn't want the staff to say that the branch manager is on leave. Somebody should get up and say, I am the branch manager. Because at any point in time, there should be a leader in that shop floor. So you have to trust your people enough to identify the one who can play a leadership role. So that each time you are leaving, you empower that person and say, if anybody comes here and is looking for madam, you are madam on the shop floor.
Okay.
That's very
You've
important.
used two keywords. Amanda, I'll let you go in there. The two keywords you've used is empowerment and trust. How do you build that in your team? Irrespective of the level of which your business, even if you are an Inkatia seller, right? Trust. If you have even one person who you are employing, how do you build trust and how do you empower your team? Is it through training, through knowledge sharing, through meetings, through reviews? How do you make sure that your team performs as you when you're not there?
You've even said all the examples already. It's
Yeah,
like,
we'll
it's
delve
like- it's
in.
not- yeah, it's not a
Different
one
ones, yeah.
size fits all, as
Yes.
you said. So it's like in various ways. I've encountered SMEs where when a customer enters, they don't want madam. They want the assistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really have SMEs like that. Initially, they would want madam. So madam had issue. My girl, when customers come, it's like she's shy, she can't talk. You know, sometimes also depending on the entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurs and the SME space, the kind of people we sometimes hire. Some of them don't have that self-confidence. So maybe interacting with the customer becomes a little bit, hey, I'm not there yet, I can't speak, especially when your customer clientele are of a different range. I can't speak to them that way. But you would have to let them, it's like when we are training our kids to let them know you are powerful, you are good, you are beautiful. Let the person know, look, I've given you, maybe you have this leeway. You have an advantage to give a discount of 5%. If it is above 5%, maybe you can come to me. We don't give them all these things. So when a customer comes and say reduce it, we'll say, oh,
Is
there's
it
no
because you
reduction.
don't trust them? Why don't we give them? Or
It's because we don't.
let me throw in a spanner. Like, I've learned so much in these 5 years that I've been in Janet. So you invested your capital, and therefore you feel you have to control everything, right? And therefore you don't let go. You don't trust your team. You don't empower your team. Let's speak to business owners. We will come to this time. Let's speak to business owners. How do we, maybe in the beginning stages, it's not easy for you to let go because you need to know your team, etc. But then how do we, in empowering them, trust them as well to deliver? In practical terms, give me some examples. How have you empowered your team, for example?
I think, well, for me, the level of people I had facing the clients, I was lucky to have people who were educated, who were good and all of that. I have had a few who were not up to it, and so I understand when they feel like, okay, I can't talk to this person. But it's still, I think it goes back to who we put where. you know, it goes back to who we put in what position and who is communicating with our clientele base. And so if the person is empowered in addition to who they already are, then it gives you a stronger person and then you can trust. But if you've not put the right person in that place, even when you've trained the person, you yourself will not be confident.
Exactly.
And then it's a, I don't know whether it's a chicken and egg situation.
It is actually. It's like garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
You can't
Yes.
ask for what you haven't invested in.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yes, but
yes.
you see, the reality of it is, how do we fix this? Because the SME doesn't have so much capital to be able to pay that person.
Yes.
And so they will still go for, I want to pay, this is how much I can afford. Again, most of us will start a business with a certain amount of money, maybe not a loan yet. And so it limits what you actually want to do. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It limits what the person may want to do. You expect that, okay, over the years when it grows, then I'll improve and I'll get better people and
Yes.
all that.
Yes.
But business happens and it's not going that way.
Amanda,
And
tell
so
me.
you are not able to.
I can
You know?
hear Amanda itching to say something.
I really agree with what she's saying. And you know, when sometimes you hear empowerment, it's like, oh, leave everything to them and let
No, it
them
doesn't
do.
mean that.
So it's like there are no checks and balances, and nobody is held accountable. So we live, especially as a business owner, it's like your finance is so important to you, and you're wondering, how do I empower and trust so that she doesn't take my money away? So you put processes in place and put maybe checks in place as well. So let me take it for instance. Most of our SMEs, most of the transactions is maybe on WhatsApp or Instagram, maybe if it's online. So maybe you have a WhatsApp phone for your service person, and most people contact or communicate through the WhatsApp. So purchase is done through the WhatsApp, and maybe you have a Momo line. So you're expecting that your employee will give the Momo number to customers when they are paying, and definitely that conversation will start from the WhatsApp platform. God being so good, technology, as a business owner, all you need to do is, yes, you've given a phone to your attendant. With your phone that you have, you just have to scan the QR code of the other phone. So every conversation that goes on that phone, you see it.
Really?
Yes.
I'm learning something new
That's what you
today.
need to do. So it's like at the end of the day, maybe you were attending to other operational activities. You can just sit and scroll and see which of the activities. And so you realize that, oh, okay, this person started a transaction and said, I'm making payment. But when I check my Momo, that payment didn't come.
Yeah.
Where did that payment go to?
Yes.
But you know, these are some of the petty things, and then we say, no, when I came, the person stole my money, so I don't trust anybody, I won't train. But that place, there was a gap. So the employee saw that gap and took advantage of it.
Okay.
It's the same with Instagram. If most of your activities are on Instagram, all you need to do is open that same account number
Check it.
on your phone. So before a sale goes, maybe at the end of the day, you can't do everything. But when you set every Instagram messages that went out, you'll be able to know. If the person said payment made, your Momo number, that payment has not come in there.
Yes.
So where did the number money go to?
Yes.
So you can check.
That is true. That is so true. I would just like to share an example, and then very soon we'll open the phone line for questions. Talking about confidence, staff confidence. And Sakua, we had this funny example when we were having our briefing session. The expectations that owners have of their staff is one thing, because sometimes we expect that they deliver to our standards when they haven't had the exposure that we have had, or the experiences that we have had, you know. So we just realized that you need to give your staff exposure and be prepared for the mistakes of the first time exposure, because they will come. But then it calls for patience, it calls for monitoring, it calls for continuous improvement over time. And it calls for also encouraging feedback from your clients, give it back to your staff, and find ways to improve the service delivery. Now that's great. Do we have any questions?
Somebody's asking about QR.
Okay, we will start. Okay. Love the cinnamon and the hot water idea, fantastic. Okay, I'm learning something on the QR code. Okay, that's good. So we will delve deeper into that. So we don't have any questions yet from our audience. Okay,
So you know, you mentioned
tell us
that
about the
when,
QR code.
Oh, okay. So you know, when you go to your WhatsApp,
Yes.
and then you go to settings.
Yes.
So we have this, I think under settings we have, I think check on your laptop or so. So you know I can even have my phone here,
Yeah.
and then I'll just open WhatsApp on my laptop. All I need to do is just scan that code, the QR code on the laptop. So my phone can be somewhere in the room, and once I'm working, I'll be responding to all my WhatsApp here.
Yes.
I don't need to have my phone with me. And currently, WhatsApp has even done an upgrade that once you log onto this and the phone goes off, you will still have this.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So you
Yeah.
know what we're going to do? Amanda, you do a short video for us. In EWN, we like short videos, nuggets on how to do this, and then we will circulate on our platform.
Yeah.
Now, Sakua, I just want us to have a laughing moment with this one. The word serve and service. We're going to talk about service. Now, I'm just going to tickle your minds a little bit, because in our Ghanaian culture and in certain African cultures, service is for the servant at home, or the domestic help at home, or oh, my name is Na, my name is Ni, your friend Nana, so I'm royalty. I do not serve. We ask domestic helps to serve our children at home. Our children don't wash their things because somebody has to wash for them. So the connotation of service is mostly negative. I should be the one to serve you, kind of thing. I want us to delve a little bit into that. How do we change, or how do we get a paradigm shift of the connotation of service from being negative to actually looking at service as offering help to someone who will be in need? That's one angle of the question. From the business owners, everybody wants to be called CEO these days. From the business owner's perspective, how does a leader also add service to their skills? Because most often than not, leaders in the organizations are the ogas and the big mamas, and even when they get out of the car, somebody should hold their bags and close the door. You know, there is paper on the floor, hey, call this person, come and pick the paper. So the leader themselves, they do not exhibit service. So from the two perspectives, first of all, how do we change the perception or the connotation that service is negative? And secondly, how important is it for the leader to exhibit this attitude or skill?
Okay. So that my brain doesn't mix everything up.
Yes.
I'll start from the leader and the employee. So
Yes.
we even have a program called Act Like an Employee and Think Like an Employer. And we can flip it. So you act like an employer and think like an employee. So what are the things that are expected of an employee? You want the employee to come to work on time. So you do well to come on time. You want the employee to keep a place neat. So you do well to keep the place neat. You want the employee to act in certain ways. We show by example. We should.
I'll give you a very funny example. I remember when I started in there, not to cut you, you go on, but this example is so funny because I start wear your shoes this way, come to work on time, blah, blah, blah. So then I'm like, oh, Janet, you're tired. My dear, today just wear slippers. So there was a guy I bought my Ahinima thing. In 2 months, all my staff were wearing Ahinima. I said, yes, this is it.
Yes.
I didn't say anything, but I was like, yes, right.
Yes.
You know, so the thing is, as a leader, by description, there is no leadership without followership.
At all.
Yeah.
Do we agree?
Exactly.
We agree. Yeah.
So the follower
Is what
follows a leader, and therefore they told the path of a leader.
Yes.
So having said that,
Yes.
we talked about the leader should come to work on time. If you say they should, so today I have a funeral, do I have to be at work?
Okay. So if you have have the habit of just breezing in,
Yes.
your staff know. When you have that funeral, they know.
Okay.
You are still the business owner. You have to go out and look for business.
Yes.
And your staff will know when it is your behavior to just come in at any time.
That is true.
If you're coming in early, but you have to go and chase some business, let your PA know, let somebody know, oh, I'm going. It's the same way we expect them to tell us, I'll be late. We should be able to tell somebody, say, you know, I have this meeting here and here, so I'll be in a bit late. So that when you have that meeting or that function, they know that, oh, today Madam can't come in at a certain time. You still have that leeway as a leader, but you need to establish that you are disciplined yourself.
Good one.
And so we encourage ourselves as entrepreneurs or business owners to do the right thing.
To be the mirror.
That way, when somebody flouts it, you can enforce it.
Okay.
You know, it has a subtle way of even forcing them. Madam herself doesn't do this. What nerve do I have to do this? You know, even in I'll use the salons as an example. You go into salons, and the madam is sitting there and chatting away for hours with her friends
Loudly.
about other people.
Yes.
What do you expect your staff to do?
You are building a culture. They will do the
Yes.
same.
They will do the same. Tomorrow they'll be doing people's hair right above our heads. They'll be talking, but they picked it from somewhere.
Yes.
You know, so it's very important that we lead the way.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Yes, she can do that because she's the owner. After all, I say, honey, this is not my business.
Okay.
Have you heard? Have you
Yeah.
experienced
yes.
any of that?
Yes.
And how do we tackle
I'll
that?
give you an
Yes.
example. So for instance, you have a supermarket
Yes.
and the things you're selling, they're things you personally use.
Yes.
You come in and you just pick the things and you don't pay for it.
Oh.
And you go away.
They'll pick.
What culture are you setting?
Oh.
Exactly.
So that person, the cashier sitting in there, would also take the Coca-Cola from the fridge,
Yes.
drink it and throw the bottle away
Exactly.
and wouldn't pay. So what you do, just like in Sakua said, your staff also emulate.
Yes.
So even though you are the owner, let the finances be separate from your personal stuff.
Yes.
You come in, you ensure whatever you take, you pay for it.
Yes.
So they know that I can also not just take and eat without paying for it.
So discipline.
It's
Self-discipline.
very important.
And you lead by example.
Yes.
Amanda, what do you have to say?
Leading, it's like everything, as you said, depends on the business owner.
Yes.
The typical, SMEs or MSMEs, we feel, oh, I've been in corporate industry, I'm tired. SME I've heard is so easy. Let me open a business. I can go to work at 11 o'clock because somebody is there to handle it. And you have no clue what goes on over there. So, and even there's no feedback from your customers, so nobody can even tell you as to how they are treated or what they are doing. Just as a corporate institution, but customer experience, we say is the responsibility of the person up there, which is the CEO, and everybody drives it. But you, the entrepreneur, you are the CEO.
Yes.
You are the operations manager. You are the marketing manager.
Yes.
So everything depends on you. But sometimes we hear words like, but I brought them in. Should I be everywhere? Yes, you need to be. You need to be like everywhere. At what point in the business do you fit in? Is it because you brought people so you think your work is done? No. Then that is when it happens and then you have this issue. And earlier you mentioned, as much as you're taking feedback from your customers, you need to take feedback from your employees as well.
Exactly.
Your employees are those who deal with their customers often.
They are your first customers,
Exactly.
actually.
And they can really tell you as it is. They can tell you the words that the customers use when they come and they are frustrated. They can tell you the words that the customers use when they come and an item is not there. So you get this feedback from them. Apart from that, what are we into as business owner, product or service? Can your employee really be able to patronize that product or service you are using? You are selling. So if it's let me use Janet, so if it's a spa, let's ask ourselves, are employees able to have a service from there? Sometimes they but it's expensive. So I have one of my business, and she said she was into juices. So maybe one juice is 18 cedis. Hey, I should give my employee 18 cedis juice. I was like, yeah, I understand. Maybe 18 cedis juice every day you can't. But have you asked yourself, maybe in
the whole week or twice in the 2 weeks, fortnight, or every month. I'll give them one so that they'll be able to patronize,
Yes.
test it, tell me how it feels like, and give me feedback.
Yes. Yes.
So often we try to take the feedback from the customer, some we don't, but it's important. But we forget that it's good to hear the voice of our employees.
Yes.
They should tell us how they feel about their business.
Yes.
Would they really, we have employees that are working for you but would never recommend your business to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
So would they recommend your business to somebody? If they don't, that should tell you that
There's a
an
problem.
issue. Yeah.
There is
Can
a
they
problem.
patronize the products that you have asked them to sell?
Yes.
If they can't, what other way can you put in place that they will be able to appreciate and have that service, so they'll know what the customer is experiencing when you go. So that when I tell you this juice, or maybe it's a juice and the pap inside is too much, the customer is complaining. When you drink, you know that, yeah, madam was right.
Yes.
But they don't test it, they don't have a feel of the service they are providing. So with our corporate, the service they are providing. So with our corporate institution, most of you have some multinationals or even that would give you a share in the business.
Yes.
So that if you are not working well, you know that the shares are not going.
That is
so you
so
find
true.
various ways to let your employees patronize. Is it a boutique? Maybe your office shirts are maybe 200 cedis. The person you are employed cannot buy 200 cedis. Okay, but you know the profit margins you have on it, and you know very well that, look, if in the whole quarter of 6 months, I give the shirt to my employee for 100 cedis or 50 cedis, and say maybe you pay within 3 months, so I take 50 cedis because I want you to wear it. The person wears it and feels good. The person they are wearing it to have worn something. Exactly. But we leave that gap, and we think the things you are providing is expensive, so we can't give it to our employees. We won't get that feedback from them.
So true. I will share with you something I was watching on CNN. It's about the most expensive restaurants in the world and how they achieve it. And the first thing that struck me was those restaurants, like, every month had a different menu. And the chef's job was to drive innovation and renovation. We will talk about that. And at each time, all those at front of the house, those who serving or manning the tables, were invited into the kitchen to see the freshness of the products, to taste the menu, to give feedback, blah, 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 and together they come up with a menu. So when the client comes, what do you have today? They don't just do this. Like typically in Ghana, right?
They can't tell you what is nice.
They can't tell you what is on the menu. They can't tell you anything. So I get you, Amanda. To a certain level, please budget for it because it's a cost. Budget for it. How do you ensure that your staff are able to experience a personal experience with either the service or the product that you're offering, so that they can in turn sell that experience? It comes to the question of control.
Yes.
Because we know that when we are not there, because the experience is, oh, madam, it's not there, let me quickly go and do this. For example, in Geneva, we have days that staff can do their hair. Guess what?
It's a whole day affair.
No, it's not a whole day affair. When madam is not there, I have to go to church tomorrow. Quickly, let me go and do it and stuff like that. So I think much as we're saying that, you should be aware that it comes with, you have to put certain control mechanisms in place. I'm not talking about camera and stuff like that. So we have our basic, now we have about 15 minutes to go. Do we have some questions? If we don't, we'll tackle innovation and renovation.
Yes, very true. Okay, we have, the employees should have a feel of the service being rendered. It looks like these are things we ignore, but make a big difference. So the person is just cementing what you were saying.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So now we have a basic service. How do I deliver a wow experience that differentiates me from another one? By watching my consumer trends. So for example, we all know flexible working spaces, okay? So they come to your place. There's so many times that I bet you that clients come here and they are doing like, oh damn, I have a Zoom call. Janet, can I? And I'm like, go to my office. Do you have internet? No, you go and do your. So you can be doing pedicure and doing your Zoom call. So the point is, we should watch out for the changing trends because we can pick some things to drive innovation and renovation and then to wow our customers. Deliver an experience that nobody else is delivering. Give me an example at your place. What kind of wow experience have you brought in the last, let me see, month?
Well, I don't know whether it's a wow experience. I think being able to convert the trainings onto online, and we are in the process of now, you can actually join a training in your own time. So you don't really have to join a class. And like I said, I don't know whether it's wow, but at least you're looking at the trends in time, in our day now, and trying to offer knowledge within a convenient space for people.
Okay. Tell me, you have any examples
So,
of a
yeah,
wow
I think
experience?
I experienced one recently. It doesn't have
Or have
to
you
be.
been to a place? Maybe it's
Yeah.
not at yours,
Yeah.
but have you been to a place where you were like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that, and you felt good about it?
So I experienced this. It's something little. So I called what will I call them, a mini restaurant to place an order. And I think the last time I purchased or I got food from them was like a year because of COVID. So I happened to be in the area because of I went for a meeting. So I called, and then when I called, the person said, "Hello, Amanda." I wasn't sure. So I was like, was it me? So I went ahead to say, okay, what do you have on your menu? Because they have changed in their menu. And you could hear from the sound of the voice. She was happy to tell me.
Like, oh, they immediately feel relaxed. The tricky part of it is, as human beings, those of us delivering the service, sometimes we are equally stressed.
Yes. Yes.
So the challenge is, as stressed as you are, you have to put the stress back of the house and then bring your game face on. And then when the client goes, you can, you know, put your stress back into
So, which
play.
is why as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you need to form a relationship with your employees.
Yes.
You should know when they're having a bad day,
Yes.
and you should empathize.
Yes.
There's
For
a lot of
instance-
work for this
For
entrepreneur.
instance, their baby is ill,
Mm.
and they've been up all night.
Yes.
So they come in, you see a down face. You know this person is always smiling.
Yes.
Find out why today they are down, and just give them the day off.
Mm.
You'd be surprised that little thing you did would get them to become so loyal to your brand and to your company.
Mm.
So we need to get to know the people who
So
work for
I
us.
think it boils down to trust, because
Yes.
sometimes so you do it for one, and then everybody will, oh, when I come to work and I have a frown, madam can tell me to go. So today let me come with a frown. The thing is, you have to trust
Yes.
your staff and
Exactly.
build a relationship with them.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, your business, quit thinking about your business as if it's just a transaction. Today, personalization of services is key. Actually,
Exactly.
clients want personalized services, and it starts by having data, remembering their name, their history. If you know they come for this service, today do you want to try something else?
Yeah.
What can I do to make you feel better?
Exactly.
But this takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of engagement. If we don't have any question, or do we have any contributions?
Once we check,
Yeah.
as you said, we need to keep records and data. As SMEs, we think, I don't have the money to get a CRM. It's expensive. You don't need to have the money now. You just can use your Google Sheets.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
as basic and simple as that. Don't even, I won't say Excel because you just
Not
want
everybody.
up to time.
You are
data.
going to send us a video on Google Sheets and how to use it, because I
Okay.
use Excel. I'm
Oh,
very
okay.
archaic.
So the Google Sheet is just like Excel, but the only advantage is it's like, it's so instant. You don't need to be in the office if I update something. Once you are home and I update, you see what is going on.
That is true.
Unlike Excel, I have to send it to you as an email for you to know what is going on. But with Google Sheet, it keeps everything updated. So you have your customer's name, their history, what they bought. So when a customer comes in, even once the customer mentions the name, you can filter. So you have an idea to say, Amanda often uses this kind of spa treatment
Okay.
or buys this kind of shirt. So once I say, I want a shirt blue, because I have typed and filtered in my Google Sheets, I can say, do you still want it in size 13?
Yeah.
Or this time around you are patching it. I go like,
Exactly.
oh, okay, so you know my size. Why? It's
Yeah.
because you have the
Data.
record.
You have
So
a
you don't
record of
really
it.
need to put in that much money as you're starting. There are some simple tools
that we can use as SMEs to be able to make our life also comfortable. And we also, the SMEs also want, the business owners want soft life.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
You know what, I have a question here from Nanai so far. After we've answered this question, Sakua, I'll come to you on how we can access some of these services at an affordable price. You know what we talked about. So Nana is for voice, and thank you so much. I must say Nana is for Tamaklo. Her question is, sometimes I do believe some employers within some industries want too much profit, which can impact the caliber of people they recruit. A typical example that comes to mind are the security service agencies. This does not take away the fact that some well-paid employees can still exhibit all the negative traits discussed on the forum. Maybe some entrepreneurs must try to be fair with their remuneration policies. It can help. We still have a high unemployment rate, but businesses sometimes cannot attract the right resources. What do you believe can be done to improve skill sets to curb the current churn entrepreneurs are facing? A lot is being done by many institutions to develop soft skills for the world of work, I'm aware. What more is my question? So this is a loaded one. And I must say that this is not, I don't think it's a one-time solution. This will be a continuous improvement. So Sakua, I want us to talk about your experience in the event space and how you came together, you know, so that you can access some of these services and how we can train. And I don't think the onus is only on the staff, because we have said that the business owners themselves need to have a certain change of mindset. So Sakua, if you don't mind, could you share this example with us?
Yes, so in the event space, thankfully to a very dynamic woman, Kate Hassan, she organized the Event Vendors Association. And the association was not just to bring people together, but to do a lot of capacity building. Now, we are talking nicely here, but the biggest problem with the entrepreneur is that you attend programs, you listen to such things, that is the hand-holding. Trust me, tomorrow morning, before the business owner gets to the office, the PA has sent in this problem and that problem, and so you go back into business as usual, and you are not able to see through or to execute the things you know you should do. There are also a lot of people in the MSME space who cannot generate simple things like templates. So we have to move from the space of just saying you have to do, you have to do, you have to do, into the space of I'm holding your hand. And we are doing it. For the next 3 months, these are the templates you should use. I'll come back and check on you. And it will make a lot of difference in the lives of these business owners. I have seen it happen. So in the event space, we brought in tax consultants, and every year there's a whole a conference. It's a few days conference where you're bringing people from the insurance space, you're bringing people to come and teach them proper bookkeeping. You have cases where you pool resources. So as an SME, I cannot afford the services of an accountant. So 3 of us, 5 of us will come together and share the cost of that accountant. That accountant will teach you how to use software, QuickBooks, whatever. He has the back end, access to it. And then maybe quarterly will come in, Interestingly enough, just a few days ago, I chanced on pension scheme for SMEs where they can even put 1 CD a day. I'm not supposed to be marketing, but People's Pension, so People's Pension Trust, you can so for Janet, let's say you have registered your account, so there's something called an iCare, and then the iCare you put your staff on, so you decide that they will deduct from your Momo 1 CD a day,
Really?
or 5 CD a day, You determine how much, whether it's daily,
Is it some
monthly.
kind of insurance or what is it?
So
The
it is,
pension
it's a
scheme.
pension
It's a pension
scheme. They are
scheme.
registered under the
Yes,
pension
some
authority.
people have started that as well. I
Yes.
have another pension.
And it's not a scam.
No, it's
No,
a
they are
real
licensed.
registered
Okay.
license.
Registered
That have a
license.
corporate pensions
Yes.
account.
Okay.
So they started for SMEs as well.
And the
Okay.
good thing is, I think after 6 months, you're able to withdraw a certain percentage if you're hard pressed, you know, and then you have access to the payments after a certain number of years, just like, you know, we have the pension. And you'll be surprised that there are so many opportunities out there, but the SME doesn't know about it. The business owner doesn't know about it, or they know about it but can't access it because genuinely they cannot pay an accountant 1,000 cedis
Yes.
or more,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and yet they need that, or they cannot come to any of us to say, hold our hands and let us work with you for 3 months. I want to do this. I want to train my staff. I want to keep my books. I want to restructure. I want to write that business plan. Most of the SMEs, how does the business plan start?
It's in the head.
It's in the head. Everything is in the head. You know, one day my team members sat me down because when I'm setting up for events, I wasn't drawing everything and sharing it to them. I get in and I'm shouting. We are setting up. We came back one day and said, you know, everything is in your head. You know,
We're not in your head.
we are not in my head. So I
That's so
developed
true.
now, okay, before we go, this is the stakeholder meeting, you are doing this, you are doing this. I've drawn the whole setting, you know, so even if and God had made my life easier.
Yeah.
And we need to get, the entrepreneur needs to get into that space. It helps you build confidence and trust in your team, because now the team know exactly what you want
Yes.
done. So it's important that SME owners should start coming together in groups, having tribes. We're so scared of competition, we don't want to talk to the next person.
That is so true.
We don't want
That
to
is
talk
so
to the
true.
next person, but it's a big sky out there, we will all have a piece of it. And you know the beauty about competition? When your competitor is doing well, and word gets round that in this industry, because you're part of the industry, you're part of that ecology, you will do well too. You can't do well alone when your ecology is not doing well.
That is so true.
So we
That's a key
start
point.
coming together, helping each other, having training. Look, the photographers and the videographers, they have associations. They reprimand each other. They train each other. They have so many things. I'm fully aware of it. And it's beautiful to watch. You know, somebody would use a camera. He doesn't need a camera because now he's a bigger photographer. What does he do? He will hand it down to a smaller one coming up, teach them how to do it. Even if he doesn't give it to them free, they'll sell it off on hire purchase, on whatever. When they have big jobs, they pull them along. Hey, I have a big job, I need 10 men, I don't have it.
Okay.
We need to get into that.
Fantastic,
To help
Sakua.
each other.
So one of the actionable steps after the Entrepreneurs Month is we'll form a tribe and then identify where the needs are, how we can pull together and to be able to access some of these at a negotiable fee. Now I'm going to throw it back to our audience. I'm going to call a few people to share their experiences with us because I'm sure there's so much we can learn on this platform. I see so many people. I'm going to mention Auntie Jigodi Fakudo. So Jigodi, if you can unmute your mic, that would be fantastic. And then in 2 minutes, share with us some of the experiences that you have in the entrepreneurial space that we can learn from. So Jigodi, please, can you activate your mic and your video, if you can hear us?
Mic, yes. Video, no.
Okay.
I know it's bad customer service, but I have to avoid the video. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Everyone, hello and hello all on the call. I've just been loving the conversation. Today I just wanted to just listen more and talk less, but I guess for over 2 decades of my experience, everything you're saying is sounding so true. I think the salient points that, for me, I can say has worked in what we call evergreen, just knowing your customer to the hilt. I mean, that's really, I mean, their psychographics, their demographics. The more you know about them, the better. And the more you can use that to engage them. I mean, I'm not saying personal stuff, but just, you know, I heard a lot about knowing their name. I was really pleasantly surprised that the Evelyn GCB ECG one. I loved it. But I'm saying that knowing more about them, to ask them things that have to do with maybe even their work, what they do, maybe how's work today, offering to reciprocate as an entrepreneur, like maybe, you know, I'll visit your business. If, so, for example, the person comes to Janet Spa and the person owns a restaurant, and Janet would say something like, you know, I'd love to bring my team there for, you know, exchange in entrepreneurship. A lot of people love that, especially when you know what they do. When someone is in corporate, you check on them to find out how they're doing. So I think the intricacies of knowing someone, for me, is the only contribution I'll say to, because that makes the person feel, I mean, it never gets old. I mean, no matter what it is, people like to feel loved. They love to feel liked. And I think you guys have it, like, you guys are sharing the right information. And oh my God, this Amanda's technology, I thought simple, straightforward, great. I think everyone in EWN is going to jump on that, because the whole QR code idea, I mean, we all, so thank you very much for that. I've been listening intently, and it is, I mean, you are spot on. So my experience is just to remind everybody, I mean, it's been consistent for me, and it still hasn't changed till today. I mean, I just had an experience this week with someone, and it was the same thing. I mean, I was just able to remember a couple of things about something, a project they were working on. And I checked in on them and just checked to see how the project was going. I mean, they were blown away. And that's what I'm saying, that it's so little, it's so tiny. For me, it was just a check-in, but for them, it was everything. And those are that's what I would say. The more intricately you know your customer, the more you engage. I mean, not just knowing them, but using it in engagement. So let's go beyond. The name is great. Now let's do a little bit more. And I think, you know, all the other challenges, that's for another day, because that one we all know, people challenges team. I mean, and Janet, you know that you and I can talk about that forever, and so many other things. But this is, I mean, we are about closing, so we'll share this at another time, and I think amongst entrepreneurs. But I'm loving this, and I'm loving it. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Jibodi. Karen, if you can hear me, Karen, I know you've also been in that space as well, Karen. I will give you a minute to share some of your experiences with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen. If you can activate your mic.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I think there's been so many experiences, but I think what I would say, what customers appreciate is that you let them feel like they're valued. And there's a million different ways in which you can do that. And the easiest one is reaching out to them after they've received a service or product to get a feedback from them of like how was their experience and what we could do better. I find those type of exchanges go a long way, even if the person did not have the best experience, because they recognize that the organization is trying. So that would be my submission, you know, and I think that's, you know, I could go on forever about this. I think
thank you so much. Now, I'll just, thank you, Karen. I'll just mention one more name. I'm going to do it randomly, so don't feel I put you on the spot. Just share your experience. If you don't have one, you can just say, I don't have one, and I'll mention another name. There is one here by Finesse. Finesse, that's you. Okay. You see? Put your name there. Yvonne Kwashi. Yvonne?
Yes, hi.
Hello, Yvonne. Thank you for joining us. Do you have an experience to share?
Okay, well, basically, I think you guys have really nailed it. I liked the entire conversation. I liked how practical it was. And rightly so, Amanda was spot on with a simple technology that we can all leverage on. I liked the examples given also by all the panelists. Evelyn, thank you very much for the information on the ECG contact center. I'm going to try them again. I always have this notion that they had terrible service, but it's good to know there's something good being done.
Yeah.
And it's good to have all of these, nitty-gritty information that we can use for our businesses. So thank you guys for this. We're looking forward to more of such. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. So I like what you said, positive reinforcement, because sometimes you just complain.
Yeah.
Complain. And when something goes right, we never acknowledge it and we never celebrate it. So we must equally learn to reinforce the positive experiences and keep. It's not all gloomy. Not exactly. So it's 8:15. I think we've done fantastic. I'll give each one of you 30 seconds for your closing remarks, and then I will finally close our session today. So Sakua, one last thing, 30 seconds.
Well, in a nutshell, the entrepreneurial journey is exciting. Like anything else, it has its ups and downs, its difficult times. But once you are able to maneuver it, it is an exciting and very rewarding journey. And you know the plus. We do have a little edge over those in corporate. Let them come out and let's see whether they can be on this journey. But it is a very good journey.
Yeah.
And I'll encourage all of us to work together. Don't be in a silo.
Yes.
Get help from other people. Don't be ashamed to say I'm broke, I'm having a problem, I'm going through this. Get help and enjoy the journey.
Okay. Thank you. Amanda?
Okay, so I work a lot with the SMEs as well, and what I'll say is it's not easy. I appreciate everything that entrepreneurs try to put in place to make the customer happy. And sometimes it gets difficult, and don't give up. I'll say, well, don't give up, be consistent, and be intentional about providing service to people. It doesn't come easy, but once you say you are intentional, irrespective of what is happening, you're going to be intentional, you're going to be consistent. Empathy should be one thing that when it comes to the customer journey, empathy shouldn't be taken out. In everything you do, let your employees and let your customers be the heart of your business, and you grow your business.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Evelyn?
So I would finally say that happy people equals happy customers. So as an SME business, invest in your people, because when your people are happy, trust me, your customers will be happy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now I will close to say thank you all ladies. It's been really exciting, and thank you to Yvonne, thank you to Jibodi, and thank you to Karen. It's been an amazing session. Two things from me. I started with an opening remark. When something makes you feel pretty damn good, you would like to experience it again and again and again. The second one is from Maya Angelou. People might forget what you say, people might forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. How you made them feel. Thank you all ladies. Good night. Those who are not yet home, get home safely. We love you all. EWN rocks. Thank you. Bye-bye.